You are not going to believe what I pulled off. Seriously. My husband, bless his sweet, dumb heart, thinks I was basically, clinically depressed for months. And all because I needed him to stop nagging me about money. Yeah, you heard that right. I let him think I was spiraling. And you know what? It worked like a charm. I'm Skylar, by the way, 29, and sometimes, you just gotta play the cards you're dealt, right? Or, invent a whole new deck. It all started, I guess, a while ago. 6 months back? Maybe more. Life with Lucas, my husband, was fine. We'd been married for 3 years, been together for 5. He's the old school provider type, Always wants to pay for everything, acts like he's got it all figured out because he makes decent money at his job. My money? Oh, that's my money. Separate accounts, always. He covers the big stuff, rent, car payments, most of the groceries. I chip in for bills, but mostly, my cash is for, me. And my little habits. My habits, let's call them. Look, a girl needs her retail therapy, okay? And sometimes, that therapy costs a bit more than a cheap nail polish. I love nice things. Designer bags, cute little trinkets for the apartment, dinners out with my girlfriends where we totally splurge. Lucas, though? He's always been super practical. Annoyingly so. Always checking bank statements, talking about budgets and savings goals. Ugh. So boring. It's not like I'm asking him for anything. I just spend my money. But lately, I'd gone a little overboard. Okay, a lot overboard. There was this amazing sale online, then I found this boutique with the cutest stuff, and before I knew it, my personal account was looking pretty bare. Like tumbleweeds blowing through a ghost town bare. And Lucas, being Lucas, started noticing. He'd be like, "Hey, honey, did we pay the electricity bill yet? The balance looks a little low." Or, "Did you get the groceries this week? The joint account seems a bit full." Passive-aggressive, right? He never just asked directly. Always subtle digs disguised as jokes. And it drove me nuts. I'm like, dude, what's it to you? It's our money, mostly your money anyway. I demand transparency from him, but when he asks about my whereabouts or my spending, I get all defensive. It's a double standard, I know. But it's my double standard. One night, he really pressed me. He was going over the bills, laptop open, and he saw a few unusual transactions. Small stuff, but it added up. "Skylar," he said, really slow, "what's this charge from Lux Life Boutique for $400? And then another one, Sparkle and Shine Jewels, for $300? He was trying to sound calm, but I could hear that little edge in his voice. The one that said, I know something's up. And that's when panic started to set in. You know those moments? Where time just slows down, and your brain is doing 1,000,000 miles an hour, trying to figure out an escape route? I couldn't just tell him I blew it all on stuff he'd probably call frivolous. He'd go on one of his lectures. He'd compare me to his cousin Bethany, who apparently has her whole life together and is always saving for retirement. Ugh. Always comparing me to others to make me feel inadequate. Then, it hit me. Like a bolt of lightning, seriously. I'd seen it work before. In movies, with my friends, even my aunt used it once to get out of a speeding ticket. Emotional manipulation. Specifically, weaponized vulnerability. I just had to look sad. Really sad. So, I took a deep breath. My eyes started to well up, on command. I could feel the tears pooling. I looked at him, my lower lip trembling. "Lucas," I whispered, my voice barely there. It's been so hard lately. Everything. My job, the office is so stressful. My boss is a total nightmare. And I just feel so overwhelmed." I let a single tear roll down my cheek. Classic. He immediately closed his laptop. His whole demeanor changed. He went from concerned husband to comforting saint in like 2 seconds. He came over, sat next to me, and put his arm around me. "Oh, baby," he said, his voice soft. "What's wrong? Why didn't you say anything?" And I just leaned into it. I started talking about how tired I was all the time, how I couldn't sleep, how I just felt this heavy cloud. I threw in some vague stuff about feeling empty and unmotivated. I even pulled out the old classic, "You're being dramatic," by turning it on myself. I know, I'm probably being dramatic, it's not that serious, but I just can't help it. I knew he'd feel bad for me. He was a classic too nice guy, always over-accommodating and avoiding conflict. And when I used tears or shut down, he'd always back off. He completely forgot about the money. Seriously. Like it evaporated into thin air. Instead, he started asking if I needed to see a doctor, if I wanted to talk to someone. He even suggested I take a few days off work. It was glorious. Total relationship hostage-taker move, but in reverse. I wasn't threatening to leave, I was just threatening to feel sad. And it worked. For the next few weeks, I leaned hard into my depression. I'd wake up late, sometimes forget to do chores. He'd come home from work, and I'd be on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, staring blankly at the TV. "Oh, hey, honey," I'd mumble, sounding utterly exhausted. And he'd sigh, like, this really deep, concerned sigh, and say, "It's okay, babe. I'll make dinner. Just rest." He'd do the dishes, he'd pick up the slack. It was fantastic. Sometimes, when we were with friends, I'd still put on a brave face. My public persona. "Oh, I'm fine, just a little tired," I'd say, forcing a smile. But then later, when it was just Lucas and me, I'd switch back. I'd mention how hard it was to even get out of bed, how I just felt this overwhelming sadness. I posted a few vague things on Facebook, like a picture of a rainy window with a caption about finding beauty in the quiet moments, just to fuel the validation-seeking part of me and hint at my struggles without being too specific. I needed everyone to think I was going through something deep. He even started doing all the financial stuff. Like, handling all the bills, checking the accounts. He'd just say, "Don't worry about it, love. I've got it. Just focus on feeling better." And I'd give him this weak, grateful smile. Inside, I was practically doing a happy dance. My own money was still separate, untouched by his prying eyes. Financial entanglement, baby. He was covering everything while I kept my cash separate. There were a few close calls, though. One time, his mom called, asking if I was doing okay. Lucas had clearly told her something. She was all, "Lucas said you've been a little down, dear. Is everything all right?" And I had to pivot fast. I mumbled something about just being a bit stressed from work, but that Lucas was being so supportive. It's like, seriously, Lucas? Keep your mouth shut. He was supposed to be my secret keeper, not my publicist. Another time, his sister, Sarah, total bitch, by the way, always judging everyone with her perfect life, suggested I try yoga or get outside more. I just smiled sweetly at her in front of Lucas, then later, when we were alone, I went on a whole rant about how she was invalidating my feelings and how it's not that serious for her to comment on my life. Lucas, being the too nice guy, just nodded and agreed with me. He never wanted conflict. The whole depression thing lasted for, 3 months solid. I milked it for everything it was worth. Extra sleep, no chores, no questions about money. He was practically walking on eggshells around me. He'd bring me flowers, make my favorite meals. He even tried to plan a wellness retreat for us, which I quickly shot down because that would involve actually doing things. I discouraged his growth and hobbies that didn't include me, or in this case, that involved me doing something I didn't want to do. But then, things started to get a little annoying. He was too nice. He started pushing for me to see a therapist. "Honey, maybe talking to someone would really help," he'd say, gently. And I'd be like, "No, no, I'm fine. I just need time." I didn't want to actually fix anything. The whole point was to avoid his questions, not to actually get help. He was getting into therapy himself, setting boundaries. A total Mr. Growth mindset now. It was exhausting. And he kept wanting to talk about my feelings. Ugh. I also noticed he was starting to look tired. Like, really tired. He was taking on extra shifts at work to cover all the expenses, and coming home looking completely drained. His usually bright eyes were dull. He was becoming checked out, emotionally distant and disengaged. It was subtle, but I saw it. He used to be this lively, funny guy. Now he was like a burnt-out candle. But hey, that's his problem, right? I mean, I'm the one who's supposedly depressed. The beginning of the end came when he started talking about moving to a smaller place. "Skylar," he said one evening, looking at the bank statements with a really worried expression. "Things are getting tight. Really tight. With me covering everything, and, well, with your struggles, we just don't have the cushion we used to." He suggested we look at apartments in Phoenix. Phoenix? I was not moving to Phoenix. I was not leaving my city, my friends, my shopping. And that's when I pulled out the big guns. The nuclear option. I used his deepest fears during an argument. "Is this about the money, Lucas?" I asked, my voice suddenly sharp, completely dropping the sad act. He blinked, surprised by the change in my tone. "Because if it is, maybe we shouldn't even be together. Maybe I'm just too much for you. Maybe you should just go find someone who isn't such a burden." Relationship hostage taker, right there. Threatening breakup during a minor disagreement. I'd done it before. Always worked. But this time, it didn't. He just looked at me. His eyes were completely blank. Empty. "Skylar," he said, his voice flat, "I'm done." And that was it. No yelling, no tears from him. Just, done. My blood ran cold. No, wait, that's forbidden. My stomach dropped. I was expecting him to cave, to apologize, to tell me he loved me no matter what. But he just stood there, looking at me like he was seeing me for the first time. Or maybe, like he was seeing through me. He moved out the next day. No dramatic suitcase packing, just a few boxes with his essentials. He went to stay with his friend, Mike. He didn't even say goodbye, just left a note on the counter, "I deserve better." And then, the real karma hit. Hard. Turns out, Lucas wasn't just tight on money because he was covering my imaginary depression. He'd actually been saving up. For a down payment on a house. For us. He'd wanted to surprise me. He had been planning for our future, a future faker in his own way, but with good intentions. He'd been working extra, cutting back on his own spending. All while I was blowing through cash on designer bags and feigning mental illness. And then, the worst part. Or the best, depending on how you look at it. He met someone. Fast. Like, annoyingly fast. Her name is Emily. And she's perfect. She's a nurse, so she's all compassionate and empathetic. She's super into fitness, so she's always hiking and doing outdoorsy stuff. The complete opposite of me. And Lucas? He's thriving. I see their posts on Facebook. Pictures of them smiling, actually happy. He's not burned out anymore. He looks good. Annoyingly good. He's found someone genuinely loving, and I'm watching it all from the sidelines. Relationship devastation, check. My finances? Oh, they imploded. Without Lucas covering everything, my separate money wasn't enough. Not even close. Rent was due, bills piled up. My apartment? I got evicted. Professional destruction. Turns out, My casual use of the office credit card for work supplies that ended up in my apartment was a problem. My boss, the same one I'd been complaining about to Lucas, decided my performance was suddenly unsatisfactory. Blacklisting. My phone hasn't rung for a job interview in weeks. So now I'm living with my parents again. At 29. In my childhood bedroom. It's humiliating. My mom keeps asking me if I'm feeling better and if I've found a new job yet. I just roll my eyes. My social life? Non-existent. My friends, the ones I used to go shopping with, they've all just disappeared. They probably heard the whole story. Complete social collapse. My reputation is destroyed. Do I regret what I did? No. I mean, I regret how it turned out. I regret that I'm stuck here, watching Lucas live his best life with some basic nurse, while I'm couchsurfing at my parents' house. I regret that everyone somehow twisted the narrative to make me the bad guy. It's not my fault Lucas was so naive. It's not my fault I needed a little extra spending money. It's not my fault I just needed a break from his constant nagging. I still blame everyone else. Lucas for being so uptight about money. My friends for abandoning me. My boss for being a stickler. Emily for being so perfect. It's like they all conspired against me. I don't care anymore about any of them. I'm bitter, I'm spiteful, but I'm still here. And I still believe I did what I had to do. It just didn't go my way.